Well, hello guys, welcome. This is Tom Sinclair with Streaming Idiots. We don't have our regular studio gig up today. Seems like, when you move everything from point A to point B, some of the screws fall out. And anyway, really excited about our show today. We're coming to you at a special time. We're coming to you at 7 o'clock in the evening on the East Coast and 9 a.m. in Australia, and that's kind of a key, kind of a clue to what we're pointing to in our show today. Really excited by our guests. And God, what do you do when you have 10 great ideas that just jump into your head all at the same time? Yeah, they all just sort of get hung up at your mouth. At least that's what happens to me. But last night there was a show on the vMix Funtime live show. And the vMix Funtime live show, apparently the guys at vMix have run out of things to talk about. That's right. They no longer have content for their show. How do we know that they don't have content for their show? Well, because this is what the show looked like.
What's made things really more a lot more confusing, a little bit more mysterious. What's made things really more a lot more confusing, a little bit more mysterious, is this week I discovered something that was a little bit disturbing. So I discovered somewhat of a evil twin, doppelganger, or something that looks like me, scarily enough, and is on the cover of a tongue depressors box for a medical supply company. So I don't know whether it's coincidental that all this happened at the same time, but it sure is mysterious, and it's something that we're going to keep an eye on as an ongoing investigation in the vMix file. So I don't know what to say, but hopefully out there, maybe someone knows some information that they could pass on to us, so that would be great.
Obviously, there is nothing more that vMix has to say. They've said it all. They've created the perfect product, and they can't improve it anymore. And so they've started a mousepad empire. They're selling bananas, apparently, and shipping them all over the world, including to Bermuda. And they are now marketing tongue depressors because they have cornered the market on live streaming software. And as a vMix reseller, I'm delighted. Of course, I'm delighted to hear that. The fact that it's taken so long to do this is sort of a surprise. Anyway, nevertheless, I'm delighted for them, and I'm hoping that that means they're going to get all sorts of sales of mouse pads and bananas and tongue depressors in the future. I will say before I forget and get any further that we are a for-profit business here, believe it or not. Some of the products we carry in the back, PTZ Optics cameras. Of course, we're vMix reseller. We're a reseller for X Keys, Magewell products, Eamon products, and we're delighted to have added the Panimation software to our line just recently, and one more that will come across here in just a few moments. So if you are interested and you want to know more about what we have, you can come over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click on the store icon and browse through. If you need things to do with live streaming, we probably have probably have things that you need. And you say, okay, well, Tom, I can go to B&H and I can get it cheaper and shipped free. Well, no, we're the same price as B&H, and we ship free too. And the biggest difference is you get a phone number of somebody that can actually help you and answer your call and answer your questions when you call. So enough of the infomercial. I really am so excited tonight to have two amazing guys on the show. They have taken silicone sand and they have created products and concepts that just didn't exist before. And that is so cool when people do that. And I am delighted to have on the show, let me see if I can figure out a way to get him in here without botching up all this setup here. Here we go. Yep. I've got the guys from BirdDog, Dan Mile and Eamon Drew. Guys, did I turn off your audio by accident?
No, we've just been quiet and listening. Have you got us in?
Okay. All right. Very good. Welcome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And sorry about the mix-up on the time. By the way, what happened was I told them the wrong time. And bless their hearts, they got up, they shaved, they showered, they rushed off to the office so that they could arrive at 9 o'clock and get in for the show.
My winter beard.
All right.
No.
Well, so cool T-shirts, guys. I like them. I like them. Very good. Do you know that there is another BirdDog product here in the States?
What do they make?
Yeah.
They make whiskey.
Yes.
We did know about this one,
We know
yes.
this one.
You
So, yeah,
knew about
BirdDog
that.
Brew.
I figured you would have known about that one. Okay. Well, so we won't go down that path. So you guys have got the BirdDog Studio, and I happen to have one right here that is
But
a
it's
miracle
twin as well,
worker.
so-
Oh yeah, they're twins. They're twins. And this guy will, for those of you that just have been living under a rock and don't know what's going on, there's a thing out there called NDI, Network Device Interface, that allows you to transport video all over a network just almost miraculously and easily. And this device will turn a camera or any other device that outputs SDI or HDMI into a device that's now available on this network. But that's not all. You guys have rearranged the innards on this recently to make it do something else, to make it run backwards. Is that right?
Yes, we turned it inside out.
Turn it inside out. Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Okay, so you've got yours held up there. I'll hold mine up as well. But basically, what BirdDog has been up until now, as you described, is a method of taking a video signal from a camera or any other source and converting that through to NDI, which has a whole lot of benefits, and we've seen a huge amount of uses for it. But all the while we've been doing this for the last 7 months now, in the background we've been tinkering away and actually working with the other way around. So essentially we can take a network feed in through the network port and then decode that back out to HDMI or SDI. And that makes it great for destinations. So the way we see it is with video productions, you've got a bunch of cameras, maybe 8, maybe 4, however many you might have in a live production. But chances are you've got a lot more screens that you need to get content to, and that's just as problematic as trying to get camera sources in. So we think having Decode on this little device as a free upgrade is a pretty awesome thing to bring to market.
It's free?
Yeah.
It's free.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
It's
So
a free upgrade for our existing customers.
So I have to
To
send
download.
this back to Australia, and y'all have to take it apart and add a chip inside of it.
That would probably be the most logical thing, but actually what we've done is packed it up into a nice little file you can download. So it takes about 3 minutes to update the device, and straight away from there you're able to choose which way you work. You can either, 1 minute you can run it as a NDI encoder, you can then switch that round and decode from there as well. So it's going to be a really quick and easy process that have already got their BirdDog devices to be able to use this as a decoder.
Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing. And of course, you can power it by the Ethernet connection too. So
Absolutely, yes.
Holy cow! Holy cow!
And we've got a few other little tricks up our sleeve that we're just announcing in that same bit of firmware. Anyone that's seen a BirdDog before will notice that it's got the screen on the front. And up till now, it's had what's called a tally display. So it goes green when you're on preview in your switcher and goes red when you're going live to air. So the talent and the camera operators know which camera is live. There's been a little clue on the box, which Eamon's holding up as my little prop here, where it's had Cam 1 written on the box display, and it's a bit of a teaser that's been there for a while. This screen's actually capable of doing a whole lot more. So with this firmware update, on top of the fundamental NDI decode, we actually also now have the ability to display a whole lot more information on that screen. So it'll power on. It tells you it's powering on, obviously. It gives you information like the IP address or the network address of the device. It tells you the video input formats that it's got. You can name it, so each camera can have a different name, and it will also tell you when it's decoding. So instead of having to dial in on a network connection and try and work out what's going on, all that information is available on the neat little display in there.
Right there. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And now you're going to tell me it does something else too.
There's more. Yeah.
There is more, yeah.
Eamon, you can talk for a bit if you want.
Sure. What are we talking about? Comms?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So another update we're working on, and this will be out to the market soon, is we're going to give audio intercom, and we're showing this at NAB in April, and basically what it will be is the world's first intercom solution for NDI. And because we're harnessing the true power of IP, we'll also give you video windows in that intercom system. So that will be an application that you run on a Windows 10 device, so they can be a laptop, a desktop, or a Surface for touchscreen, and give you 8 party lines, push to talk, and that will be absolutely free with any of our hardware until September 30, and then after September 30, it'll be a $4.95 software license, and that'll be for 10 users, right?
Yeah, that's so. Just audio comms typically is another box or another set of devices that you need. And again, a little clue that's been on a BirdDog since we shipped is the headset connector. So that headset connector will enable us to use comms. So as a camera operator, you just plug your headset in, and that can be a professional style comms headset or even your iPhone headset if you want to. And it'll allow push to talk. And that means that your whole crew can talk with each other. And again, just one cable, which is power over Ethernet.
I've got a picture here of a
Great.
laptop
Awesome. Yep.
that I think you guys had at NAB that shows the comms in action.
Yeah, that's it. So as you can see, actually that's
No, that's not. That's another little secret.
oh, that's
That was-
another
yeah.
little secret that you've got there,
Oops.
Tom. We'll
Oops.
come to
Oops.
that one. That's okay.
No, we can come back to.
We'll come back to that one. That's
That
another
wasn't
black
comms.
book.
Oh my goodness.
No, that's okay.
You,
So comms
you mean
also
not only
different.
is there decoding, not only is there comms, but there's something else on top of that
Yeah,
in this
yep,
one little
there is.
box. This is
Yeah, you got it.
amazing. What do you guys think? This is crazy. Okay, tell me.
So
What
one of the
was
things
it that
we
I
tried to
was
set
accidentally showing you?
Let's do that first. Okay.
Let's do that first, okay.
Yeah.
But just before we do that, I just wanted to say that what we're trying to achieve with this box is not only to give you NDI encoding, but to give you a full camera back solution. So you've got the tally, you've got your audio intercom, and the whole idea is to try and reduce the amount of boxes you have on your camera and the amount of gear you have to buy and carry to a live gig. So
Sure.
we're trying to do as
Sure,
much as
sure.
we can in the one box.
Yeah. So I'll have a bit of chat about that. If you want to bring that up again, Tom,
Yeah, let's
that
do it.
little graphic.
Okay.
So essentially, what we've got is it's another application which is it's coming out a little bit later on, and it really ties in with the NDI Decode that we've got. So with BirdDogs, we can take, as we mentioned just before, we can take the video stream off a network, so any NDI source, and we can then play that back out. But as you get more and more screens, it becomes a bit of a challenge to manage that. And this is our product called NDI Central, or BirdDog Central, I should say. And what this does is gives you live video windows of every single NDI source that you have on your network that you can browse through. And you can touch on any of those sources. They are on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side are all your BirdDog destinations. And they can be set up as groups. So you could have just one screen, which is that you're connecting to, or it could be 50 or 100 screens. And you're able to visually choose which source goes to which destination. Which is an interesting take. It's sort of somewhere between a router and just a traffic cop, really. It's not trying to be anything near a vision switcher. All it is being able to choose what sources you have on the network and put them somewhere else very easily. So it's really it's kind of central management of all of your NDI devices on the network.
Now that's going to be a
So those
separate
sources-
product. That's going to be
It's a piece of software.
piece of software that I need to buy in order to use with this. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
just-
So we'll be.
I'm
we'll
looking
be
at the box here, and there's not enough room on the side of the box to write all the things that this device does.
Yeah.
Look, in some ways that's a challenge because there is a lot in there. But what we really set out to do right from the start is create a product that people want in its core features, and that's what we've been selling for the last 7 months. But always in the back of there is there's a whole lot more to come, and we've been talking, giving little crumbs along the way about what we can do. But really, it's now that we're up to the point where we can prove how all that works, and people that have already invested in BirdDog can see much more value out of that investment. But also maybe other people that are just starting to get into NDI can make this benefit of having all these tools in one box. So.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. So we were talking about comms.
So the audio intercom software will be free, as I mentioned, until September 30. After that, it'll be $4.95 for 10 users. It's completely touchscreen compatible, so you can use it with the Microsoft Surface. We have the video preview windows, and because we're using the NDI platform, we can give you the video windows on the screen, similar to how you saw on the central interface. And then you can just touch on any of those. And once you've got your party line set up, you can talk to that group of camera operators or anyone in that group.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think it's a different take. I think comms in general, as I mentioned before, has always typically been in a separate box, and there's still a place for those comm systems. But with NDI, we thought we might as well use all of the power of that. So as a producer or someone that's running the show, if you can have a tablet with every single camera moving pictures that you can touch on and physically talk to, it's going to be a really great experience. On top of that, you can see the program output as well, all in one interface. So that's going to be really exciting.
And to deploy it with one cable for power, communication, signal. Oh my goodness, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And it can go either way. That's good.
The one last thing that we were talking about, we did announce at NAB, and there's been a bit of talk about it, is as much as we love our studio NDI, which has a huge amount of features,
yes,
there's some circumstances which I'll cover on where it makes sense to have a smaller device. So maybe those SDI connectors aren't needed.
Wait. Oh, stop. If you're just joining us, folks, I would say we're getting to the good part, but it's been good part after good part after good part. I've got Dan Mile and Eamon Drew here from BirdDog TV, and we are just talking about the BirdDog Studio NDI device, which does comms, which decodes video, which is powered by PoE over Ethernet, which now has the ability to interface with a piece of software coming out called BirdDog Central, and it's all in one device, which I thought was a little pricey when it first came out. I got to admit to you guys, but now that you've quadrupled the function of this little box, I think it's a bargain.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, yeah, thank you. What we try and tell people is because we do audio intercom, you can pay several $1,000s for an audio intercom system.
Sure.
Because we do tally, that's another $300 or $400 for a tally system, all in one box.
I forgot tally.
Plus then we do NDI encoding as well, and NDI decoding. So there's your audio and video transmission. So over the network, which makes it more flexible and saves you on SDI and HDMI cabling. So yeah, once you start to add up all the features in the box, actually we think it becomes pretty good value.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody earlier. Well, I wasn't talking to him, but we were exchanging comments on Facebook, and they said they just bought 5 of them. I was like, wow, okay. I mean, that was Gene. Yeah, Gene wanted to give you guys a shout out.
I saw that comment. Hey, Gene.
He was delighted. All right, so if this wasn't enough, you've decided to give this guy a little brother.
Yeah, that's right. And so essentially inside this, a lot of the technology is based inside our silicon chip that does all of the hard work in processing. And that's why we can have such a small box that uses such little amount of power and can run with power over Ethernet.
Right.
And the feedback we've had is this is great, but for some circumstances, especially with Decode now, maybe it's better that we could have a smaller box that might be able to mount on a Visa mount, for example, on the back of a screen. So we actually announced at NAB BirdDog Mini, and all of those features we've been talking about are actually present in BirdDog Mini as well. So it still supports comms, it still supports decode and encode, of course, power over Ethernet, but it's in a smaller form factor that makes it easier to mount onto either smaller cameras or onto TV screens and things. So it fits in as part of the family, so you don't need to standardize on one or the other. It just depends on what you're working with. So on a camera, it might make more sense to use SDI and use the studio. but on some screens around the place, or maybe a smaller DSLR camera that you have, the Mini might make some more sense as well. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And unfortunately, sorry, we can't show you one because we've sent all our prototypes out around the world for various trade shows. So we don't even have a case here at the moment to show you. But literally, it's, as Dan's saying, if you take one of our BirdDog Studio NDIs and you cut off where the SDI ports are, that's pretty much exactly the size. Yep. Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
got it. So when is that going to be available? Oh,
That's
wait.
the,
We got to give a disclaimer. Guys, these are the people that announced this product like 19 years before they shipped it. And
Thanks for that, Tom.
Yeah.
well, we want everybody to know what's going on. And I know you guys are going to be ribbed about this as long as you live. So whatever they say, take it with a grain of salt because they're very optimistic. All right,
Yeah,
so
look, I think it's
what is? Oh, you know what? B&H Photo says this is going to be available tomorrow.
Oh, good on
On their website, it says June 21.
We should buy them from there and we can sell them around the world.
All right, so
Not ready quite yet.
when can I get one? Through the regular channel?
So I'd love to say that would be fantastic. Essentially, what's going on is that we have obviously got a history of being optimistic on releasing products, but the big thing with Mini is that, as I explained, we are chopping off the SDI connectors. So from if you probably don't have a picture of the rear of the Mini, it's not in the press pictures, but all the connectors line up. They're very, very similar. So from a development point of view, it's actually a whole lot easier to get to market. The last time round, we were making a computer, we were making a silicon chip, we were making enclosures, we were making the actual NDI compatibility. There's a whole lot of things we were doing at once, which was, in retrospect, quite a big task. You would have thought. But this time around, we have a lot of that kind of in the bank, if you know what I mean. We've got all of those tools at our disposal, and it's now about deploying them in a slightly different form factor. So long way around of saying it's not going to be 2 years. We announced it, so that's a couple of months ago now, and we're sort of looking, we're into the production phase now. So all the prototyping, all the verification is done, and now it's just the production line stuff, which has its own time frame. We're expecting, with a bit of luck, end of next month, but it may spill a little bit further. But it's certainly well into design and into production. We've seen video come out of it. It's all underway.
Yeah. And so we announced at NAB, and at NAB we said we'd be shipping before IBC in September, and we're still very confident of that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I did see a little teaser somewhere today. Maybe it was on Facebook that you guys had a little surprise at IBC. So maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from, but I think someone's maybe telling things. I'm not sure. We will definitely have a few things up our sleeve at IBC, but
it wasn't me. It wasn't me for once.
No, I know. Someone actually tagged me in the post.
I know. That's why I was looking at you, because I'm wondering what we've got at IBC.
We've got an add online to Tim's tongue depressors. So we'll put those out, but with his face on the box. So sorry, Tim, you've got.
Can't market for yourself.
That's so depressing.
But yeah, so IBC is coming up now. Obviously, we can't just keep turning around and go have Mini come out in end of next month and have IBC with another Mini, or a micro. But look, we're excited about the show, and I think we'll have some really good announcements. But yeah, as we get closer, we might be able to give some teasers too. But
but not quite yet. The good thing about Mini though is when it launches, it will be fully featured. So audio intercoms will be in the box. The Decode function will be part of the firmware at point of shipping. So there won't be much more to add to the product once it ships. It won't be the same as Studio, where we've added features over time.
You guys have a history of adding to the product, so I don't know that.
Can't help ourselves.
Hey, folks, if y'all are just joining us, this is Dan and Eamon, and is it Eamon or Eamon? I'm sorry.
It's Eamon. It's
Eamon.
It's an
Okay.
Irish name.
Gee
With
whiz.
an Irish accent.
I can't get time zones right. I can't get names right. Okay, so Dan and Eamon from BirdDog TV, who have this amazing product called the BirdDog Studio NDI, and its new little brother, the BirdDog Mini, Dan just let it slip that there is actually a BirdDog Micro that's going to be coming out sometime after NAB.
I said there's not going to be. Nice try.
No.
I've got enough grey hair already. I can't be getting another one. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
We are working
here's
on
here's a legitimate question. The BirdDog Mini is currently an HDMI input and output device and everything else it does. Is there going to be a mini SDI?
It's a good question. Look, right now we're not announcing that. From our feedback, typically the cameras that are SDI that they're going on, the form factor of Studio actually works quite well.
Okay.
With the larger screen, with the information display and things.
Okay.
Mini is really more about the smaller cameras and going behind screens. So at this stage, probably not. Look, if we get a lot of people shouting out saying it's a really important thing that we want to see, then we're all ears and nothing's impossible. But at this stage, Mini is an HDMI device.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Just to circle back on that post that someone put up about IBC and maybe new announcements. I just want to make it very clear that if we did announce anything at IBC, anyone who bought a Mini or a Studio today would not be disappointed.
Oh my goodness. Oh my! These guys know how to do it, folks. They just keep on teasing you with all these things that just are going to happen. Oh, I love it. All right, next question. Do you see a day, and I'm not going to hold you to any of this, and this is, off beyond the horizon time-wise. Do you see a day when we're going to see a BirdDog Dunkel?
That's an interesting question. And I think dongles as a form factor are an interesting thought and where they would go. So I'd probably throw that back to you, Tom, and just say, where do you want to use something like that? Because on a camera, it obviously makes sense to have a device that's got tally and things that you can see from further away. So having a really small device like a dongle doesn't necessarily lend itself to a camera. So I'd be interested to know where you'd want to see that. Obviously, having our silicon chip, we can do many things, but it's also making sure that we're making things people want to use. So.
Right. No, I mean, I can see a use for people that are not coming from a broadcast background. They don't need comm. They don't need tally. They do need video. They don't need decode. And this is a replacement for the Magewell HDMI to USB dongle, and instead is HDMI to Cat 6, and comes into the network anywhere you want it to come. That thing would blow up. I don't. The form factor would have to be a little smaller, but.
Yeah, the Studio's not quite dongle form factor.
No, that might be part of the challenge though. There's a lot of chips in here. It's basically full of silicon. So, yeah.
But I mean, over time, things.
Yeah, I opened this up earlier, and I was playing around with some of the stuff, and when I twisted it, and it came right. No, I'm just teasing. Yes.
That's why you're holding it up and don't have it plugged in.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm just showing you this side of it. Yeah.
No, so there is some space things to take into consideration without going too far down that path. About a third of the space inside the box is taken up with power over Ethernet circuitry. So to do the power is actually quite a challenge, and that's why you see a lot of broadcast and a lot of small form factor devices don't run on power over Ethernet. So there is some considerations around that, which we'll work on, but we're not in a position to announce anything like a dongle at this stage. So.
Yeah.
But wait for IBC. Yeah, I get it. Okay. So what do you guys do in your free time?
What's that mean? I don't know what this
Every time I see Facebook, Eamon is in London, he's in Thailand, he's in Malaysia, he's in Australia, he's in New York. Dude, I want some of your frequent flyer miles.
Yeah. there's good and bad points to all this travel. But yeah, again, well, next week we'll be in Singapore at Broadcast Asia show. So that is basically the largest trade show in Southeast Asia. So you get people from probably like 20 countries visiting. So anyone who's listening and is wondering if we'll be at Broadcast Asia, we will be next week.
Yep.
Showing BirdDog. So
Awesome.
So yeah,
Awesome.
more stuff next week. Never stops.
Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. And did you guys understand what you were getting into when you drew on a napkin this whole concept?
I think something about how hard could it be came up at some point, which has come back to haunt me a little bit. Look, to be honest, and this sort of flows into your comment before about how long it takes. It shouldn't be underestimated how hard it is to make a piece of hardware versus designing a small piece of software. And this is where, well, not a small, any piece of software really. Things like audio comms and this BirdDog Central, we can get out a whole lot quicker because with software. Just a small example is if you want to make a change and rebuild it with software, it can take 20 seconds, 30 seconds to recompile. With these hardware devices, it can be half an hour. It can be an hour before you can test something. And if you roll that through with every iteration of what you need to test and change, it just takes a whole lot more time. And not to mention, if you get the board wrong, you need to redesign, and that can be weeks and weeks. So, no, I think is the answer. This is our first time in making hardware. We've been in the industry for a long time, but the adventure of doing this and making sure we do it right and make a reliable box has certainly been a road of a lot of learning. But it's been a whole lot of fun as well.
Yeah, we've been selling other people's hardware and software for 20 years. We've been sort of in the industry, and I always thought, oh, can you just spin up this product? I've got this idea for a product. And manufacturers will say, yeah, that's a great idea. And I'm, oh, cool. So we'll see that in 6 months. And then, no, you see that 2 years down the track. So
Yeah.
Developing hardware is a lot harder than I ever knew about. So yeah.
All right,
It takes a lot longer.
awesome. Do you think this whole process has made you a little bit more humble?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. I think it's. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing this, but also it's being able to speak with many more people about how they use things in the industry and all the rest. It's been a huge learning experience for us, and hopefully we can on the back of that provide stuff that people want. But,
yeah. I think it's not only made us more humble, but from speaking for myself anyway, I've got a lot more respect for other manufacturers in our industry now. Knowing what they have to go through to bring a product to market, I've got a lot more respect for everybody that you see with a booth at NAB. I've just got massive respect for all of these companies.
And I think, even probably a person that comes to mind that needs a real shout out is Dr. Andrew Cross. He's basically created the platform for us to make our business and our products on. So, and there's years and years of pre-work that's happened there. So from us, it's we couldn't have done that without all of that work. And so everything builds on other people's work.
Yeah, and truly NDI is definitely, like we because we're selling products around the world, we're talking with various resellers and end users around the world. NDI is definitely going to become ubiquitous over the next sort of 5 to 10 years at broadcast level. There'll be probably some other IP formats, but we really think that NDI will be part of pretty much every major broadcaster's workflow in some regard. So, for Dr. Andrew Cross to build a platform and then have pretty much everyone in the world say, yeah, we're probably going to use that. It's a pretty amazing feat. So, we've got nothing but respect for him. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. And Dr. Cross, when you watch this, remember you have not been on this show yet. So, put that on your list.
There's an invitation.
That's right. Oh no, he's had more than one invitation. Yeah.
Busy man.
Yeah. That's okay. It's okay. I don't take it personally. No. So, okay, guys. So, we've got just a few minutes left. I had one killer question here for you, but I've already pinned you to the wall too many times.
I'll just leave it at that.
So, have you looked at each other at one point and one of you says to the other, we ought to do XYZ, and the other one reaches out just to throttle them and
You've been
says,
watching the webcam in the office, haven't you? It's,
no more. I mean, does your creativity just drive you crazy? I mean, do you guys just have ideas that come faster than you can even write them down on paper and just
yeah, absolutely. I think the challenge we've had, and you know, I think we've shared that along the way, is knowing when to stop and say this is enough to get a product out. And of course, you know, no one would have any products, no one would have a TV or a car or a computer if it was perfect the day it came out, or if it did everything that it would ever do. So yeah, there is a bit of that where, you know, we could do this, we could do this, we could do a million things, but you really need to wind that back to what do we need to do, and what's going to be that bit extra that people go, wow, that's great, without, you know, holding back another year to try and do the next thing. And, you know, so from that point of view, yeah, that sentiment of, yeah, we've got a million ideas that we'd love to do, but it all we have to kind of pare that back. And we've got whiteboards all over the office where, yeah, it seems every 2 paces there's another whiteboard where we can write something down and, yeah, then start arguing about whether we should do it or not.
Yeah, well, it's one thing to have the idea, but then once you start talking to engineering and, you know, talking to Dan, he'll say, that's going to take me another 2 years. Okay, well, maybe we'll just pull our heels on that one and find something easier to make. But, yeah.
And now you know the answer to the question is, yeah, it's going to take another 2 years. Whereas before it's like, oh yeah, no problem. We can build that.
How hard could it be?
How hard could it be? Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that was, I think that was my famous quote from 2 years ago. But yeah. So it's been a fun experience though, and I have really appreciated. We've had a huge amount of people following us along the way, and you know, I think 99% of people have been incredibly patient, probably more than I would have been with me. So thank you, everybody. Hopefully, with all these new things that are coming out that are really very close, we're demonstrating all of these things. They're really just around the corner. Hopefully, we're kind of returning that favor and being able to bring you stuff that actually helps you out as well. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I also appreciate you guys hanging out with us at NAB at the Streaming Idiots meetup. That was a ton of fun to have you guys there. It frankly, for me, it made the party complete to have the BirdDog guys there. So it goes without saying you'll be invited again next year, probably. At least.
Thank you.
We didn't trash the place, so we can come back.
We'll definitely be there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, gents, I so much appreciate you taking time this morning to come to us and talk about the BirdDog Studio NDI and the BirdDog Mini and about the comms and about BirdDog Central. And it just, you know, the good stuff just keeps on coming. And I'm so excited to have followed you guys the last couple of years and to look forward to the future about the great things that are going to come. You know, what else can you do with this box that you haven't already done? Gee whiz, I'm looking at it. You know, I see some slots here on the side. There's some slots here on the side you're going to use for something. I'm not sure what it. Maybe there's a projector inside that's going to project video out the side of it.
Did you put that in there?
No, that was on the whiteboard.
Oh, you forgot. Okay. That's right. So no projector.
Whoops! Ooh, shouldn't have said that. All right.
Well, Tom, just before we go, can I a massive thank you to you and to everybody in the Streaming Idiots community. You guys have been really very supportive of us. We're really humbled to be, you know, talking to users every day. We're very approachable, so if people want to contact us via Facebook or through the Streaming Idiots page, just tag BirdDog and we'll see it and we'll reply to your questions. So we appreciate it very much, Tom, and thanks for having us on.
I hope you'll hang around for just a few minutes in the post show because I think the guys in chat have got 1 or 2 questions, and then of course they've got a bunch of new features they want you to add. So
of course,
yeah. So let me do this, and we'll be right back. Okay, weren't those guys great? Oh my goodness. I enjoyed hanging out with them in Las Vegas and can't wait for another opportunity to sit down with them. But if you're watching live, hang around because we're going to have some question time. If you're watching us after the fact, then don't forget to tune in next week. Next Wednesday, we'll be back to our regular time, which is, what is our regular time? 3 o'clock Eastern is our regular time. So make sure you plan to tune in for Streaming Idiots next week. If you need vMix or PTZ Optics or BirdDog Studio NDI. You can get them in our store at easternshorebroadcasting.com. So pop on over and take a look. I'd be delighted to help you with any or all of that. Otherwise, we will see you later. So have fun, be good, and keep streaming. And we're out. Okay. Boy, with that was crude, rude, and unattractive. Let me bring these guys back in and turn their mics back on. Guys, y'all are great. Y'all are just great.
Thanks for having us on, Tom. That was great fun.
Thanks, Tom. That was really great.
Okay, so we've got some guys in chat with some questions. Let's see if any of those questions are with you or if they were just chattering about. Sometimes they'll chatter about all sorts of things, about beach volleyball and all sorts of other things that have nothing to do with streaming.
Worthy.
Let me scroll back through the chat and see what I might have missed. Apparently somebody from vMix was in chat or might still be in chat, and so there was some discussion about how to get the comms into vMix. And then there was an idea from the vMix representative of a bird dongle, not a bird dog, but a bird dongle.
We like bird dongle.
Let's see. Kiwi Chris says Tom is not watching the chat. Boy, that is true. I had all I could handle with these two guys. Okay, Phil C has got a question. The SFP module,
Yep.
does it support fiber or copper Ethernet? Don't understand the question, don't know the answer.
That's okay. This is network nerd stuff. So
Yeah.
So on the back of the device is a network connection. So this is called an RJ45. So that's your standard where you put a blue cable in the back and away it goes. It works on the network. There is another way of getting a network connection, which is via an SFP. And that's a interchangeable module where you can choose to have either an Ethernet connection, which is your RJ45, or a fiber connection. So in here, this is a standard network connection, not an SFP. So you aren't able to switch that out for a fiber optic connection. We opted for that because we want to power over Ethernet. We can't do power over fiber because it's a bit hard to send power over glass. So from that point of view, this product doesn't support it. We've had a few people ask about it. There is ways to get long runs. So the reason why people would want fiber is to go longer than the 300 feet or so that you can run a network cable.
Right.
So a couple of ways to do it is you can run a 300-foot cable and then go to a network switch which has got fiber and backhaul that as far as you like. Or you can get these little devices called mini converters, and they're only about $40 or $50, which will convert a normal network connection into a fiber connection, and then you can run that for as many miles as you like. So, it is another box, so it's not built in, but that would solve a problem of running further.
Okay, and you could still do PoE if you did a converter like that. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So at your location where the camera is, you could still do PoE.
Right.
And then you could run a fiber connection, however many, 20 miles, 40 miles, however long you need to go.
Right.
Cool. And then run it and convert that back at the other end. So that was a long way of saying, no, we don't support SFP, but hopefully that gives some reasons around why we don't and how you can get around it.
No,
Those little, aren't they? They're not expensive, yeah. So.
You impressed me, but then I'm easy. All right, Giles is saying that he has registered his BirdDog devices. Does that mean that he will be able to get the comms at no extra cost when they're available?
Yep, absolutely. We'll be emailing all of our registered customers once comms is announced and available for download. Yep. And they'll get an email alerting them that they can download it.
So you heard it here first, that comms is going into beta around about 2 weeks from now. And that will be beta, so it's going to be a little rough around the edges, and we want feedback. And we're not saying people have to use it, but if they want to use it and start taking advantage of it, within the next couple of weeks, they'll be able to start messing around.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And the BirdDog Central That's not that's not a free product. That's going to be
We haven't
write a
worked
check.
out the pricing model. Yeah, we haven't worked out the pricing model on that. We need to get a little bit further down the development path and then give it some thought about the commercial aspects of it. So yeah,
Gotcha.
we haven't get a pricing model on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was more at NAB. We had that where you got that photo was more of a tech preview of where things are going, more than this is coming in 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years.
Gotcha. Now the Decode firmware, is that available now, or is that coming down the pike?
So Decode is again a long-winded. I'm good at these long-winded explanations rather than just yes or no's. Sorry. The Decode firmware is actually working. We're testing it on the bench daily, and we have NDI working fantastically. The latency is amazing. So it can be used for even things like iMag. It's so fast. So we're really happy with how that's going.
Wow.
Where we've got to hold and cool our jets, we'd love to get it out there. We could literally send something out now. But the issue we have is making sure that what we do is NDI compatible in every respect. The reason why people love NDI is you plug things in and they just work.
Right.
If we were to just release this, there might be some device or some widget or some software that's been made by somebody else that we haven't tested because we've had to develop all of this in-house. We're the first Decode hardware. It's all new ground. So we're working actively with new tech at the moment to get it qualified across the board. So from a technology point of view, it's done. It's probably ready to go, but we just need to make sure we cross all of those paths. So we don't have any strange situations where someone expects it to work and then is in the middle of a live production and finds, for whatever reason, the software they're using that's NDI compatible doesn't work with BirdDog's NDI Decode. So
Got it.
really just checks and balances.
Yeah, and on our YouTube channel, which is BirdDog Australia, you can see a few behind-the-scenes videos where we've shown it working with TriCaster Mini, I think, was one of them.
Yep.
And we've also shown output from a Adobe Premiere timeline, which is kind of interesting for certain applications as well. So there's a couple of videos where you can see it working. It's a real thing. It's working well on the test bench, but yeah, just a few little check boxes we need to tick before we can release it out.
Yeah. So,
Folks, don't ask these guys a simple question, because you're not going to get a simple answer. You're going to get, it's like, everything they know that they're allowed to say. All right.
I'll try and answer the next.
Okay. All right. Here's. I think this is going to be a simple one for you, and I think I even know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Can the BirdDog, with its new Decode feature, decode and encode at the same time? Can it go in and out simultaneously?
I say yes or no. This is not the answer is yes, but not straight away. So yes is the answer. We can do both at the same time, but it's kind of a walk before you run on that. So the firmware we'll be releasing in the next, as soon as we get signed off from new tech, is decode or encode, but really soon after that we'll be able to do both.
Get out.
The chip So the chip inside here can actually do two things, and once that, as Dan said, the next sort of thing on the roadmap, which we're not really sort of talking about a lot, but since you brought it up, you can do. We'll be releasing a free update which will allow you to do, say, a dual encode, so you'll be able to encode SDI and HDMI at the same time, or you'll be able to do one encode, so SDI encode, HDMI decode, or you'll be able to do two decodes, so SDI decode and HDMI decode.
So you can do two things at once. You pick which ones you want to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the short answer was yes.
The short answer was yes.
Yes or no.
And I would have said no. I would have said, no, there's no way they can do that. They can't do both of them at the same time. Come on, be real. That is amazing.
There's a lot of stuff going on inside there, and I know it comes back to that 2 year thing. We probably could have shipped it sooner, and there is a point where we did go, enough's enough. We don't need to put any more things in.
Yeah.
But we always had this plan for a lot more to come out, and it was sort of in some ways banking on people's patience, but hopefully now as things come along further, you'll see that there's actually a lot more in there than what many people may realize.
Yeah. At some point, Leonardo da Vinci decided that's it. The Mona Lisa is done. That's the last brushstroke. Maybe the dual feature will be our last brushstroke. So we'll see.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. if I were a betting man and somebody bet me that you guys were done when you got to the dual, I would say, nah. They're going to come up with some other great idea that they can do, that they can put an umbrella in the top of it, and, you know, a Mai Tai is going to come out the bottom or something like that.
That's a great idea.
So, all right, let's see. Matthew says, what about a comms and tally only device? Have you thought about stripping out the video and doing just comms and tally only?
That's a good one. So we came out at NAB, so in April at the show in Las Vegas, announcing comms, and it was a total departure from a typical comms system, and we think it's the first visual comms system that's being sort of shown or announced, and it's really IP video and NDI specifically has really enabled that, and so our concentration have been getting the visual production crew to be able to talk with each other. So you know, producer can talk to cameramen and or camera operators. And make that all happen. What became very clear as soon as we announced and started showing this is all of the audio questions that come along with that. So what about audio only? What about Dante? What about AES 67? There's a whole bunch of things. And I think the shortest answer I can give, which I'm going to be famous for long answers before much longer, the shortest answer I can give is that there will be adding more and more features on the audio only side of comms, because I think that side of things can definitely grow a lot more.
For a tally and comms only box, maybe, but not anytime soon. Yeah.
Gotcha. Just have to cut off that part of the box. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the front bit is
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting a lot of questions now that, you know, people want to know specifics about the Comm software, and you'll be releasing that soon, but it will be a software product that will allow the comms to work together.
Yes.
And you can see screenshots on our website. So if you want to have a look at it in more detail, there's more detail on our website. Of course, email us or hit us through Streaming Idiots. Post questions in there, and I'll happily answer them for the rest of today and tomorrow, and anytime really. But yeah.
And the website is bird-dog.tv. Bird-dog.tv. Yeah. Don't forget the dash. Speaking of dashing, guys, I got to go. But y'all have been just absolutely so nice to work with and to deal with. And, you know, anytime the people talk about bird dogs, I'm thinking, you know, these are the kind of people that are making this, are reshaping the industry by their attitude. You're not going to put a product out that doesn't work, even if it means that your ego takes a pounding in the meantime, and I know what it's like to be on that end of it, and to you know, eat crow and say, you know, it's just not ready. It's not to the point where we want to put our names on it. And I really applaud you for holding to quality on that. It's going to pay off huge dividends for you guys in the long term, because when you say something, people know that you mean it, because your history will speak for itself. And I just
hopefully we can pick up on our time estimation probably our next thing.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit tricky, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's all about buzz at that point. Yeah, I get it. Well, it's really great, and the folks that have hung in here to watch the show live got a treat, and I'm sure all the other folks that see it later. If you ever find yourself in Fairhope, Alabama, you know, come on out, hang out, and we'll
try and make that happen.
We'll have a cold drink. Definitely. We are on the way to nowhere, so if you're heading nowhere, you're going to get here. So,
okay. So I come from a town of about 100 people, so you know, I know where nowhere is.
Yeah. And Eamon, again, I just thank you for entertaining my son Jordan when he came to visit earlier this year. He had a ball. We visited him in Thailand a couple of weeks ago, and he brought that up, and he said, you know, Dad, you just know all sorts of people, don't you? And I was like, well, yeah, you know. I didn't have anything to do with it. I just thought it was fun.
Yeah, I think the world's got smaller because of video. Like, it really has. I took a video call while I was at my father's house the other day. I got him an iPhone for Christmas, and he's starting to get his head around that. It's his first smartphone, and you know, all of a sudden I've got like a video call, and he's like, "Wow, we really are living like the Jetsons now," you know. And I'm like, "Well, you know, this is someone from overseas," and he's like, "Well, the world has really got smaller." So I think plane travel made the world smaller, and now video has made the world just tiny.
Yep.
right here, we're talking Melbourne to Fairhope, Alabama. So
That's right. That's
there are
right.
no really how we
Awesome.
can communicate now.
Awesome. Well, guys, you're the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
So
And
we
we
appreciate
will,
it very much.
I will see you in person next spring, and I'm sure we'll chat
Absolutely, we'll be
somehow
there.
between now and then.
For
Good.
sure.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Toodles.
Thanks, Tom.
And everybody
you
watching
later.
live, thank you for hanging in and having fun and watching and being with us today amongst all of our foibles and problems. It was a lot of fun, and we learned a lot. And we'll see you next time. So we're going to let the stream run out, and we'll see you. Okay. All right, gents. It's just us
Okay.
now.
Thanks, Tom.
Again,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks.
And I apologize for the. I'm sorry?
My phone just lit up like a Christmas tree. I've got notifications all over the place from people, so I'm sure it's because of yeah,
Well, good.
very
Good,
busy
good.
for the next hour or two.
I hope it does great things for you
Appreciate it,
guys. I'd love to be a small part in your success.
Tom, we appreciate it very much.
Have a great week and a weekend.
Thanks.
See you, mate.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you.